Hey girls, welcome back to my channel. This is Jenny Penton, founder of Planner Perfect. And in today's video, I'm going to be discussing the full cliff noted version so that it's just easy to grasp and you can apply it immediately, the 4 steps to the scripting method so that you can truly succeed and create the life that you want. Stay tuned. Okay, let's go ahead and dive right into this. If you want more of a deep dive on the steps, I do have that on my IGTV, and I will go ahead and link that down below. So this is going to be the cliff noted version. Now the scripting method, scripting in itself really means more like detailed, longhand versions of what you're wanting to accomplish. And so you're going to take the time to really script, to really visualize what that's going to be like for you. So the scripting method is a method of really impressing the subconscious mind so that it works for you instead of against you. So you can begin to change maybe some fixed beliefs that are working against you. You can replace that. It will also impress the mind to know what you want so that you are basically intrinsically acting upon, things wanted effortlessly instead of having to use all your willpower. And this method has really proven to be huge in really achieving things that you want, big and small. So if you're new to me, welcome. This way of planning, I have been planning this way all of my life. Before I even know there was a psychological approach to it and why it works so well, I just knew that it worked. And so I just began sharing, coined it with the Planner Perfect method, and truly it's a scripting method. So let's just dive right in and let's get down to the steps of what you can do to get started. So number 1 is to journal your desires, your hugest, let's say there's no ceiling, the ceiling's blown off. What are your desires? What are your biggest dreams and goals of what you want? To help break that down, you can do it in 3 different, like health, relationships, and business. You can do it in different categories like that, but those seem to be best for really encompassing everything. So, or you could change it to home, things like that. So when you go about journaling your desires, and when I say journaling, because in this instance, we are taking an approach where you are using blank pages and you are writing in first person, because when you go to write out and script out all of the desires of your heart, you're going to want to act as though they're already done. And there's a reason, a psychological approach and a reason for that. And that is so that you're impressing the subconscious mind that it has already been achieved. And that comes with a feeling. And that feeling helps when it comes to really answered prayer and manifesting things from the thought life into physical form. And in scriptures, it talks about, as a man thinketh, so is he. Whatsoever you ask for when you pray, believe that you've received it and it will be yours. Now, so let's get down to what you can do and how I have really been using it for success in my life. And that is, in the beginning of your journal that you would have, you're going to see that you will, I find it best that I just on the first pages, it's going to be like a bullet point in this instant of everything that I want. And you can use the categories that I mentioned earlier, and you can do it that way to begin. Like everything within your health, just be like, I am so grateful for well-being. I am grateful. So you're going to act as though and script it out as though it is already a finished work. I feel so good. I love feeling so carefree. I love having so much energy. I love being pain-free. I've been able to do this, this, and this, and this. Okay, so in the beginning though, when you do it, it's going to be more bullet points. So I am grateful for living a pain-free life, or I am grateful for having a disease-free body, things like that. Then keep going. I'm so grateful for the relationship with so-and-so. I am grateful for my new home. I am grateful for blah, blah, blah. Okay, so you're going to write down all of these different things that you are desiring. Okay, and you go take as many pages as you want to do this. And I would make sure that you do a point by it or a little heart by it. That way you can easily be drawn to each desire. Then on the subsequent pages is where I get detailed with each bullet pointed desire. So with the first one being, I love being pain-free and full of energy. I love having the body that I'm in, okay? So that's gonna go into complete detail of what that would look like. And when you script with detail like that, you can't help but evoke emotion. And when you evoke emotion, it brings you closer to, what you are desiring. Because remember when, and maybe you don't remember, but when in previous videos that I've done, we've talked about when you are having a desire and you've truly letting it go, and you know that God has that for you, based off of scripture, off of his promises. There are laws that are in place, and those, just like the law of gravity and laws of, how electricity works, those things worked. And if you're unknowledgeable of them, or if you don't know, you can get hurt by them, but the same things can help you. So it's important that you understand God's laws so that you are actually aligned with them, so that you can actually have answered prayers. And that is by being in a joyful state of mind, being joyful, being happy, because those emotions is a symbol of faith and belief that your answered prayer is indeed on its way, okay? Any other emotion other than happy and joyful is a warning sign that you're going the opposite way of the thing wanted, of what you are desiring. So when you feel other than where God is, because God is love, joy, and happiness, the more higher vibrations, when you've pinched yourself off from him and you've not charging into his power, which is the only true power, then you're out here on your own in a way. You're going to feel alone. You're going to feel separated. You're going to feel like worried and doubtful and less hope. But that's a sign. Those are just, those signs are for you to get back charged in, plugged into God's source. I like to say it's like you're getting charged. He is our only power source, and he is within you, and you can't, when you use your free will to separate yourself from him, he's always there. God is always there and with you. He's within you. When you've separated yourself, then you're going to feel the lower vibrations, okay? And so those lower feeling, not so good emotions. So those are warning signs that you need to get plugged back in, feeling happy. Sometimes ways you can do that are to be thinking of things other than what is wanted. Maybe that'll help you so that you can, refocus and keep your mind off of the things unwanted for a little bit so that you can find that joy spot. Whatever it takes for you to get into this joyful place of unconditional joy, regardless of your conditions, you're well on your way. Because after all, the only reason why we feel that we need or desire something is the feeling that we'll get from it, is that we think we are going to feel better. But God wants us to be able to feel better now, regardless of the conditions, and to be unconditional. So that is something that we do need to work on, and that takes faith, and it takes some belief, and it takes working on it, because this is the only work there is, that you will be working on this every minute of every day, and pretty soon it will become your default. And that's why it's important to really, really develop this trust and this knowing that when you indeed are filled with joy and you have God, and you know God has got your back and he knows the desires of your heart, that you will receive answered prayer when you trust and believe in him. And signs that you are on the right path is when you feel good. I always suggest calibrating like 3 times a day, where you get down, sit with your planner, even for 15 minutes. Meditation is awesome, because when you meditate, you stop thinking. When you stop thought, you stop resistance. Resistance is any negative thoughts that would be there that would push you further away from your desired end. So it's calibrating, it's stopping thought, it's stopping resistance, and it's getting you closer to getting full charge and power from God. That's like the best analogy that I've got. And so you're doing it 3 times a day, getting in there in your planner and rewriting all the joys and how you're grateful for the things that are not seen yet, but you know that from the unseen comes the seen. And so from all of the unseen, you're already grateful for it. And so just to have this gratitude moment in your journal 3 times a day, even if it's 5 different things that you repeat. Like, I'm so grateful that I'm pain-free. It's just living like this is so, I can play with my kids and my grandchildren, or I can run around and do this and this. I can actively garden and pursue my dreams, all of these different things that you can even think of. Just writing that out really helps reset and recalibrates you so that you are intentional with your mood. You're intentional and conscious about the path that you're on, because the path that you want to be mainly on is one that is God-led, and that is where you're filled with joy no matter the conditions, because you know that leads to nothing but blessings and overflow. So that is going to be my suggestion to you in the beginning, especially to calibrate. It's always good to do that 3 times a day. I feel it's been very, very helpful for me. And so every morning, you can check here. I'll put a little link up here of what my journal looks like and what my vision board looks like for journaling. I'll put in the center of my book all of these visions of all of these big things that I want. And the reason why you don't need to know how and all the details on the how is because God will reveal that to you. It's just important that you know what you want and you write those down. So to go back though, when you'll see in that video, and it's important that you watch it, you're going to be writing in detail on what those things look like in the present tense as though they were already happening. And then each day, once you do all that, that's going to take several pages of just, that's going to be some really fun work. It's stuff that you want, stuff that gets you excited and psyched and jazzed. You're grateful, you're excited, and you're going to be really going through all these things. You haven't seen them yet, but you know that through Christ, all things are possible. And so you're really taking the time to go through these pages to really be like, wow, this is what it feels like to actually have that, to actually be in that place, to be doing that. And that puts you in a joy space right now, even though the conditions show otherwise. But you've got faith and you've got hope, and you know that those things are for you, and that through Christ, all things are possible. And that means exactly what that scripture implies. Okay, through Christ, all things are possible. So when are we going to actually believe it? When we believe it, we feel joy. So be very conscious of how you feel, and you'll know you're on your way. And it's okay if you dip. Just pick yourself up, find something to feel good about, distract yourself, because that is truly what you've got, that choice, that free will to feel joy no matter what. Nobody can take that away from you. Nobody. Isn't that amazing? You can feel joyful no matter what. And when you do that, the things wanted are yours. Whatsoever you ask in my name, they are yours. And so you're going to have that faith and that belief. And how you know that you're on the right path to the answered prayer is that you will feel good no matter what. You are joyful no matter the conditions. You are joyful no matter what you see. You are joyful no matter how you feel. And that is a lot harder to do then we all know that it's harder to do than for me to say. But it's worth pursuing. It's the only job worth pursuing. Because in order to have the Christ-filled abundance, which is long-lasting, that is our work, okay? So that's going to be a little bit of a longer version. That's the first module, okay, of this 4-step process of the scripting method. Be sure to watch the video for more clarity, a more deeper dive on how you can set up your journal. All of these tools are a great way to get started. If you're new, is my subscription box. It comes with everything you need to do each month for you to plan your life using a journal, then your planner, and then all of the fun little planning accessories to inspire you along the way. That journal should be used, it'll fill up every single month, because you also will not only be doing gratitude calibrating entries, but you also can journal how you're feeling if you need to process something. And then on that next page on the silver lining, because again, you don't want to ever stuff feelings down. You can write those out of where you're at, so they can be processed and they can move out. Then you can also talk about, well, what it was going on how this got manifested, or how did this come into my life? Because no matter what, and a lot of Christians in the Christian communities get real uncomfortable with the word vibrations or manifestations. All it is answered prayer. That's all that is. We are made up of energy and vibration. God wants us to be plugged into him, and when you are, you're joyful. God doesn't put sickness on people. That's huge in the Christian community. It is not true. God does not give you sickness. If that were the case, like we are ordained to be sick, why are we always trying to be well? Why are there even doctors, or the desire deep-seated within to be happy, to be feeling like we have well-being? It is God is within us, and we are perfectly and wonderfully made. Anything else other than that is ourselves, by not knowing, have brought upon us different things because we have been thinking negatively rather than positively on what is, okay? So when we are in the lower vibrational scale, we will start to manifest and bring into our reality, because we're creators. Just like God is a creator, we are too. All of these things into our lives. And it's very good to see, though, once you do know that you have the power to control that, then now you can change your patterns of thinking to reflect more in your world of what you do want rather than what you don't want. Okay, so that's all very, very, very important. So every day, get in your planner. I mean, you're going to be so busy filling that up. I mean, you're probably going to end it before the 30 days are up. But good news, the sub box comes again, and you get a new journal. Some things are going to be just manifesting. You're going to be actively working in those. And other things, you're waiting for the clarity and for God to reveal those to you. So rewrite those again. And God will show you how. He'll lead the path. He'll get all of the components that come together for the desired end, and he will reveal it. Certain people will come into your life. Things will show in front of you. You'll be revealed. You'll be awakened to it. You'll see. As long as you are powered in with God and filled with joy, you will, for the most part, as your default, you will see how those bigger, huge goals are actually going to be coming into your life. They're going to just start rolling in. So have faith, stay strong, work in your journal. When you do have things you're processing, make sure on the other page to just continue and reiterate that you now are looking at the silver lining of that and say, hey, you know what? I kind of see where this has happened and where I've attracted it, because like does attract like. It'll attract its kind, okay? So when you think negatively, negative things will appear and happen in your life. When you just think back, test it out yourself. When things are going positively and you're filled with joy, more of that is attracted to you, and more of that will be in your life. As a man, woman thinketh, so is she. And so that's something that we really need to understand with all of our knowing, okay? So those journals, that's a very, very first thing that we need to begin and know with the scripting method. It's important to do daily. 3 times a day in the middle of the day, and then do it again at night, even before bed. Kind of go over it, grateful, right before bed, and then kind of even as you sleep, begin to visualize those things as though they were already done right before sleep. It's really a great way to impress the subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind is what really does all the work. It is working for you on your behalf. You want to make sure that you feed it with the right information. So many times our subconscious mind is filled with false truths, with limitations, everything we've allowed to go in there. Someone told us when we were small that we'd never amount to anything. We've believed it. Once we believe it, then we act accordingly to our beliefs. So you have to understand that as well, that we are just walking accordingly to what our fixed beliefs are. And so if it's not serving you, then it's time to replace it. And all you got to do is replace it with what is wanted versus what's not. You don't have to try to hammer it and get rid of it or think about it, or you don't want to draw attention to it. You just want to feed the mind with what you do want instead, and it will drown out, get rid of. And just like when the light turns on, the darkness leaves. When you put the light positivity on the negative leaves. It's easy. It's not anything real hard. You don't have to dig back. You don't have to do much. You just need to replace it with what is wanted, and that way the subconscious will be working in your favor to make you act on autopilot on the things you do want instead of what you don't. So you want to have it be a working partner with you instead of against you, and that is how you do it. You got to feed it right. You have to feed it right. Let's move on to the second module, which is going to be your goals, your monthly goals that are tangible each month. Let's talk about that in the next module. See you over there. Okay, welcome back. We're going to be talking about your monthly goals. These are going to be simple. This is going to be easy, but in the Planner Perfect method, in the system that I've created, these are monthly plan books that help you be very focused 1 month at a time, so that you are accomplishing and doing great things 1 month at a time. So not that you can't forward plan, because you can and you should, but I really do love the focus of 1 month at a time. And now I have 12-month planners that are really great to have, to be able to do some forward jotting down and thinking and dreaming, and that is something that is awesome. So note that. When you set your monthly goals, those are going to be tangible. Those are going to be something that you want to accomplish. I love goals like, now I homeschool, I'm a homeschooling mom, and it's kind of like, okay, what do I want to do for my homeschooling month this month? What are we going to start? What are we going to do? What are the activities? What are some experiments? All of those kind of things. I love to jot all that down. I also love to do any kind of, like, if there's a seasonal change, what do we need to do for the bedding, for the decor of the home? What kind of deep cleaning do I need to do? Getting rid of summer stuff and the flip-flops, and getting out jackets, and what about a wardrobe swap? Do we need to go do wardrobe changing? What about things you want to bake? What about that book you wanted to write? What about this bigger goal that now you've gotten clarity on, that you actually want to begin? You've gotten some clarity, you've got some ideas about how you want to accomplish it, this huge goal, and now this is the month you're going to start it. This is where you're going to do it, and it's going to seem tangible because God's given you what you need to get started. So you're going to see that these bigger goals that you have, you're going to start to get like these ideas of how to start, and then people, places, and things will be presented to you for you to look at and notice, and for you to begin starting and being actively inspired to begin working toward your big, huge goals, okay? So even if it's like a body weight goal, I mean, when you put that in and you envision yourself and you're scripting out what you feel like and what you look like in the body desired, in your present moment now, you'll begin to be inspired intrinsically because of how you impress the subconscious mind. It feels like your subconscious mind is like, oh, she's already this weight and feels good and feels fit, so we walk, so let's go. I mean, it gets you motivated to do the things that you need, and you'll be motivated to be working intrinsically motivated rather than the hot iron fist of the will all the time. And maybe sometimes you need to begin, and you begin with some willpower, where not that, but with creating good habits, that kind of a thing. And so, but you will be motivated. You'll be inspired to even write that down. You'll be like, okay, I'm going to start this. I'm going to start eating this way. I feel like this is how I want to feed my body. And you start to get motivated. And pretty soon, what you have seen in your mind will be your reality. It all starts with your mind anyway. If you want to, let's say, go and make some coffee, you feel like having coffee, and you go and make the coffee, that's like a manifestation. It's first you think about it, then you do it. First you're thinking, then you do. So you want to think right so you do right, okay? And those bigger things will take a little bit longer to get momentum and to bring forth what you are desiring. And so the smaller things come real simple. It's those bigger things that we have the hugest hangups on, the things that seem like they are uncurable, undoable, and you just cannot do. Those are some of those paradigms that we have, which is fixed, set, negative, maybe some negative fixed paradigm beliefs in there that we need to change up and redo. And that's part of the journey of removing and moving forward. And that's the journey. This is the journey, my friends. This is the journey. And so these goals are all going to be fun. They're in the first pages of my planners. So right when you open it up, you've got your calendar and then you've got your goals. And this is where you really get detailed on how you want to accomplish these, what you want to do. You've got birthdays to celebrate. Maybe Thanksgiving lands there. It's a perfect place to get detailed on how you want to celebrate, the menu, the guests. You've got plenty of room to be able to do that. This is what it's for, so that you can live your best life. When you get detailed and when you script about anything that you want, you're impressing the subconscious mind. And when you do that, it works for you, and you become so inspired and so eager and so excited to live life that even the most mundane of things become inspirational to you. You want to clean your home. You love making great, beautiful meals for your children, your family. You love creating that date night for your husband. One example of that is like, when maybe you have a relationship goal in your journal that you want to have like an amazing relationship with your husband, and you really script it out with full detail of how it would be if it were that already. And your first person point of view, like, I am just so grateful that we sit out on the back deck and we're doing this, and we get to spend this quality time together. And because maybe you don't have that now, and that's what you're dreaming of. Well, guess what? Maybe in your goal pages now, you're getting inspired and you're getting ideas of how you can kind of create that atmosphere for you as a couple. And you're like, hey, you know what? I feel really inspired right now to go grab a bottle of wine, get some charcuterie stuff going on, and I'm going to set it up in the back, and I'm going to surprise my husband. And all of a sudden, you're creating these things. Whereas before, maybe our mindset, which usually is that we're just complaining, or we're like, he's always busy, he's always working, or I know we just have a sucky relationship. Now you are dreaming of what you want, not what you don't want. You're dreaming what you want, and then when you dream about what you want, you'll be led to ideas and inspired actions that bring you toward the desires of your heart. And this is all with positivity. This is all with love. You're unconditional in your present moment, even though you don't feel that relationship is where you want it to be. You're unconditional. You are joyful. You are full of hope and love, because you know that your desires, your prayers, those are your desires, that they're answered. And so you know that it's taken care of. So you're joyful no matter the condition. And when that happens, my friends, when that happens, that's when you get the ideas. That's when the things come presented to you. Maybe your husband will even shock you for once. And so I got us a spot at our favorite restaurant. We haven't gone out in years, but I just felt compelled. That's what's going to happen. You're good. Other people are like cooperative components. They will actually have these ideas themselves, because we're all connected. And they're going to start getting these ideas just based off your dreaming of goodness and love. That's the only thing that's going to penetrate and work is good and love, because that's what all there is love and the God. Anything else is not going to work. And so that kind of love is just infiltrating other people. That goes for even healing other people. It's another topic. So that is how this all works, my friends. This goals and scripting, the real detailed, hey, this is my Thanksgiving. Again, this is all first person. My Thanksgiving is gorgeous. This is what I envision it to be. We're dealing about a month in advance, And It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful dinner. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to have this for breakfast. Oh, we could do this for drinks. We could do this for dessert. We could go watch the lighting or the light show at the end, or let's do this, or let's invite this person, or I've got this great gift idea. And you just begin getting these ideas. And when you plan and dream and script and you got full of details, you impress the subconscious mind, and all of these things will be flowing unto you. They are going to be easy and effortlessly. I know from my own life, a lot of women think that I'm extraordinary, but we're all extraordinary. It's just the way I'm planning and dreaming, and everything that I do seems like, wow, it's a lot, but it's stuff that I want to do based off dreams I've had, and everything that I'm doing just seems so easy. And it is easy because I feel like it's been just handed to me. Like, it's so easy, and it's because you're inspired and you're happy and you're joyful. And everything that I do, I can do them feeling unconditional, even though my present circumstances may not be where I want them to be. I've done videos, I've been chatting on stories and my IG. I do things and I continue on. I haven't always done that, but I do them regardless. And being consciously, unconditionally loving and happy and joyful is my new me. And it is like the only way to live, because that is where you have life, you live life, and you live it more abundantly. So we all have this capabilities of heaven on earth and this joyful experience if we allow it. And how do you allow it? You align yourself up with God's power. How do you do that? You plug into Him and you feel joy no matter what, knowing that the feeling and emotion of joy is what brings you step by step closer to the thing desired. Okay? Monthly goals, that's the second module. We're going to move right on to the third, which is your daily pages, how to plan your life and script. In your daily pages, this is going to look differently than your journaling, because the journaling scripting is more for your big, large goals and your vision board, goals. This is your day-to-day planning, where you're pulling from larger goals because you're getting ideas and clarity. You're pulling from your monthly goals, and you're living your day-to-day scripted, exactly, mapping out the life that you love, writing a better story by really putting in all these details to impress the subconscious mind like it's already happened. That's what we're going to talk about next. I'll see you on the other side. Okay, you guys, we are back. We're going to be talking about your daily pages. These are just as important as any other part of the tool in the Planner Perfect system. And this is where you are scripting your life as though, you're planning a week ahead is what you want to do, and adding to it each night before. Okay, so you go as far as you can on a Sunday, and you're going to plan your life as far as you can for the whole week, filling in important things that you know you have to do. Once you get in there and you sit in your favorite cozy spot and you begin to write your date, the day, it's a 2-page spread except for the weekend. And you're going to, I go by time frame. So it's like morning routine, my late morning, early afternoon, and then late afternoon and evening. And by doing that, you kind of got your rhythm and pockets of time. I like to put washi across in the center there. And I'll even show you here when I get it into my something like this, where you've got the washi across and you put your morning routine, your late morning, early afternoon, and late. And this kind of just gives you that 4-square separation of where you can organize your life and map it out. I'll put a card up here for my pillars so that you can watch that video, but that's basically just habits you have for you. Mine change up every season because maybe I walk, maybe I don't. I also watch my 2 grandsons full time. So I also have pillars that are for no boy pillars and boy pillars. So I really have changed out what my routines are according to that. So in my morning routines, it's like, what time I wake up, and you're going to be planning as though you've already accomplished it. So it's like, good morning, Jenny. That's why I talk to myself, because it's a beautiful day. Everything is written out with such intention. Remember, if this even seems a little bit like, wow, this is a lot, then I want you to remember this. This is your only work. And this is where you have you are consciously living and you're intentionally living, you will find if you ever go back to either not planning, going by bullet points or by a calendar alone, you will see the vast difference, and your life will really be controlling you rather than you creating your own life. So if you want to take your place as creator as you are, these steps are vital to be able to inspire you, to give you through this brain and this thinking process. This is where you receive downloads. I call them just God downloads. I get God downloads because I'm in that quiet space. I'm in that meditative type of space where I'm by myself in the mornings. I'd really try to make whatever in the Sunday morning, whatever, planning out my week. When I really, or even the night before, I find a cozy, quiet spot to really tweak the next day of ideas of how I want my life to be living. How I want to be living in my day. So it's like, wake up and I'm going to have some coffee, and then I'm going to meditate, and then I'm going to quiet my mind, and then I'm going to script, and I'm going to go over my goals and my journaling, and I'm going to visualize. I'm then going to do my dishes and my laundry. I'm going to shower. I'm going to walk, and kind of have like that as my pillar. And then I move on to, what I'm eating and what I'm feeding my kids, or if I'm going to incorporate a baking day in the early afternoon, what I'm feeding my kids again. I like to get intentional even about meals and things, so that way I'm not caught off guard. I know what I have, what I can offer them, what I can feed them. And that way everything has really just been well thought out. Nothing feels chaotic. Nothing feels like you're constantly in the rears. So my laundry's flowing well. I'm folding, I'm cleaning, I'm getting things done. I'm managing my home. I'm implementing everything. I'm looking at different days I can run errands. I'm looking about now that when you think of your life like this, like you're outside of yourself, and you're looking down like, what can I do this week? You begin to get clarity. You begin to get ideas. You begin to get those downloads. Like, for me, and even homeschooling mom, I'm like, science experiments, art, reading to them, all of these different things that I want to pull into my days. And like, I'll go and like, hey, on Friday we could do Monopoly, or, oh my gosh, I could go sit with my husband on this pocket of time here, or I could go and do this here, or I could do part of my business over here. I could paint over here for myself. You're really choreographing. You are getting downloads like of ideas of what to do and incorporate to make your life fulfilling. God will reveal to you if you don't know what your gifts and talents are. God will begin to reveal those to you. You'll just be getting downloads. I know for me, I always knew that I loved painting. And that was something I knew of since I was like 5. But in terms of also my passions and other things, I really got downloads for those. Like, just inspired action, like, bake, do this, you're gonna love it, do this. Oh, I'm gonna try homemade pasta, I'm gonna make bagels, I'm gonna do this from scratch, I'm gonna do this here, I'm gonna try this. You just get excited. I'm gonna try a garden, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna join this gym, I'm gonna try this out. You're just trying things, you're experimenting with life, you're giving it your all. You're like, hey, yeah, I'll try that out, or I'm going to meet up with this friend, or I'm going to do this here. You're living life, and you're living it to the fullest. You're trying things out. You're finding out what you like. You're finding out what you don't like. When you don't like it, then you know what you do like, and you just begin to just roll and live your best life, girls, your best life. Because when you use when you're consciously intentional about your life and how you want to live, you can't help but live your best life, because you are connected to your source of power, and your source of power is God. And when you're connected to Him through joy and expectation and excitement for life, you are going to be so filled with over the brim of abundance in all areas of your life. And there is not anything you can't see, overcome, do. No mountain you can't move. And that is part of your daily plans. Move through your day as through the pockets of your day, through the evening. Go through the evening, though, that way it's not wasted. And even if you want to rest in the evening, I intentionally write that down, because some of those nights I'm very active, and I'm like, I'm going to play a game with the kids. I'm going to play Monopoly. I'm going to set it up. I'm going to have popcorn. I'm going to make sure I have their favorite drinks. And then I'm going to read my favorite book. We're going to watch this certain movie. I mean, I'm very deliberate. Everything that I'm doing, I'm very deliberate. And even if something went by the wayside on one of those nights, I could care less. I move it over the next day, or maybe it wasn't really wanted, or it doesn't even matter. But I'm deliberately and conscious about everything that I want to do, and everything that I want to accomplish gets done, and it's effortless. And so most of the time, though, everything that I'm writing down and I'm creating does happen. So the games and what I want to do with my kids at night, and taking a walk, or running to the store because there's something I'm eagerly wanting to do the next day, and I'm choreographing my best times to be able to fit it all in. It's just those kind of things that are just, it's just like you are really piecing things together and creating your best life, and you're deliberate. And then some nights maybe you're going to be like, you know what, I'm going to plan on, after I'm done getting that last dish in the dishwasher, I'm going to sit down with a cup of tea, and I'm going to be with my children, and my husband, we're going to cozy up, and we're going to just relax into the evening and watch a Disney flick. It's just one of these things that you just get or it could look completely different for you, but it's where you're intentional even when it comes to rest. So that is how you are intentionally living. That is how you deliberately create the life that you love. And by scripting and visualizing what you want, it will come to you effortlessly. Join the thousands and thousands and thousands of women that are already doing the method. And you can even join my Planner Perfect fans group for more inspo from a lot of women that are already and have been doing it, on how successful they have been in their lives, and the answered prayer, and the awakening to who they really are. And when you're awakened to who you really are in Christ, it's a game changer on who you really are and the powers that you have when you are connected to God and you are a true vessel for God to work through. It's a game changer. Your life will never be the same, and you can never go back. And so I just welcome you to this community. I'm so happy that you're here with me. We've got one more module to go through. It'll be quick, but yet thorough. It's on allowing. It's allowing these things to flow to you, and you have to know how to not block it. I'll meet you on the other side. Hey you guys, this module is the module of allow, and allowing is basically where you are aligning yourself with God so that all of the things wanted, desired, prayed for, written out. Prayer is really, listen, let's just define this right now. What is prayer? Well, prayer, a lot of times people have this myth, this false belief that God is somewhere outside of themselves, and that he's got this, he from outside of ourselves is either declaring yes or no, and whether or not this should happen or not happen, and you're petitioning him. That could not be further from the truth. That is not true. Prayer is really something that you even do vibrationally, whether you realize it or not. And that's when we live, we are going to be always living in a place of where that you're going to be able to define what you want and know what you do want, know what you don't want by just living. And we all are so individual that God is able to, is with all of us, and he works within us, and we individually create something amazing in this world through Christ, who strengthens us and gives us that power. When we really hone into that power, when we know the power that we have, then we are using it to its fullest capacity instead of haphazardly. When we're consciously plugged in, when we're aligning with God and we're joyful, and we have desires for nothing but good, love, and for the love of all, we serve our fellow man, we serve our families, we love ourselves, we ultimately love ourselves and care for ourselves, and we are very good to ourselves. We don't berate ourselves. We don't say, boy, Jenny, you're really an idiot, or you don't deserve to even wear those pants because you look hideous. The self-talk that we do needs to stop. We love ourselves because God first loved us. We are beautiful, beautifully made, wonderfully made. It's fine time we agree with God. And you know why it doesn't even feel good when we don't agree? Because God doesn't agree with us. So if it feels bad, God doesn't feel the same way. If we feel poorly, God doesn't feel the same way. God's always looking forward. He's never looking back. There's a reason why the woman in the Bible where it talks about where she turned into a pillar of salt, because she looked back. You always are to look forward. God is always looking forward, 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 present forward, because that is where you're going. You are growing. You are expanding. You are moving forward. You are creating. There's no time to look back. When you look back, all you're doing is drudging up stuff from the past right here into the present. You're just going to get more of what you're looking at back there that you don't like into your present. When you understand that, you're going to really begin to start to allow. When you look at anything unwanted, more of what is unwanted will be your experience. When there's something in your life that seems to be cyclical, it's because you're focusing on what's unwanted a lot. So begin to when you understand that, now you're like, okay, I need to stop thinking about this so much. If you need to, if you find it hard to distract yourself and you keep finding it going in a loop, maybe you could process it and look at it. If it's really cyclical and you feel like you've got OCD about it, then I have a video on shadow work. You can check that out. That's a good video to watch. But you can also process it by looking at it. Sometimes things start to get in our mind so much that it's just because we haven't processed it. We've stuffed it down. We don't want to look at it, blah, blah, blah. But it's still there and it's really active. So if it's a thought pattern that you notice that you always have, then look at it, okay? Watch that video. But also, other than that, if it's not like that, don't be looking behind. Don't focus on things. Don't call your friend or your mom and talk about all the things that you hate and what you don't want. You don't need to do that. In order to create change, you have to be thinking of the things wanted. You have to change the way that you're thinking and think only on the things wanted. That goes along with the lines of our journaling that we talked about in the first module. That we're actually focused on the desires that we want. Through prayer, we vibrationally send out a signal of the things that we want based on the things that we don't want. So even if we have a negative feeling initially over something that we don't want, that vibration is sent, and God knows. God knows vibrationally already what we want. Is it good to define it? Yes, because what we focus on is what we receive faster. It's important to know what you want. That's why doing a visualization process on the things wanted is what's going to bring you closer to it, because where energy goes, where focus goes, energy flows, and that is how you are going to close that gap and be able to see answered prayer a lot quicker. If it's really, 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 really something that you want, really, 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 really bad, that also is not very good, because you're focused on the fact you don't have it. And so that means that you're lacking that full capacity of being unconditional no matter the condition. Once we let go, and we even forgetting about it, even if it takes longer to get there, is better than, oh, I need this to be happy. I need this to happen so I can feel good. I need this to change so that I can actually get momentum. I need this to be different for me to be happy. It's not true. You can be happy now, and that is exactly what God calls us to do. God calls us to be happy no matter the condition. And when you can do that, girls, you are on your way. And even if it's a minute by minute process, you're on your way. If you can't do it that day, then God's grace is new every morning. Okay? You don't need to stress or worry about the fact that you feel you aren't perfect. You are working through this. You are getting there. You are doing it. And I promise you, you will receive your answered prayer. But you need to understand that you need to be in the state of allowing. And being in the state of allowing means you've let it go to the point that you're just grateful. You're just happy. You don't need things to change to be happy. You know, this is just one example of a billion where I've mentioned this. I think I did a IGTV on this, but I had this vehicle that I had, this old SUV for 12 years, something like that. And all I did was complain about it. And really what I thought was that it was my husband's fault I didn't get a new one. You know, I was like, I just felt like he controlled everything with that. Like, well, you could drive it for a little bit longer, or we don't have the money. And I would tell him, I want a new car. I want it new. He's like, no, we are not driving a new car off the lot. Are you nuts? You know, he was just adamant about like what was good or not. It's like, that's too much money to do that. Or I was like, yeah, but that's what I want. You know, I just knew what I wanted, and I just pushed and pushed and pushed against. I was in a bad mood about it. off and on all the time, like, oh great, my seat doesn't back up, or oh, it's full of sticky pop or something, I can't even back up, or my window doesn't go down, and the air unit was like coming out of the ceiling. I mean, there was just so many different things, and I wanted to complain about it, and I did all of the time. And then as I began to understand and be conscious and aware of how my thoughts were just keeping that vehicle in my life for so many years, I was like, you know what? I need to be happy where I'm at. I need to just love this car and just cut it out. And my husband can never be in the way of me receiving my own desires and what I want. Nor did my husband think he was even in the way. It's just that because of my negative thinking, I was just drawing all of this magnetized like a magnet. It was remarkable. Once I let it go, I look back in my journal. This is so great because our journals and our planners are like documents. They're like documented life, okay? And right there, it said in my journal, brand new SUV. It was January in 2020. I wrote this. I will receive this in 2020. How grateful I was that I received a brand new vehicle off the lot in 2020. And I never mentioned it to my husband again. I never talked to my husband again. And I actually just completely just let it go. All I know is that I would be grateful for a new vehicle. And I didn't care when it came. I didn't care. God's timing is his timing. I didn't care when it was. I just knew it would come. I let it go. I would wash my car. I would clean it up. I was like, you know, you've been good to me. I've had you for so long. I had all my babies in you, and I just love you, you know? And I just like, oh, you know, when it wouldn't work right, I was like, oh, wait. I found my sweet spot. Oh, the seat's backing up. Oh yeah. And I was happy in the condition of my car and where I was with it, no matter what. And guess what? Within 4 months, my husband, of all people, okay, usually I would be the one surfing the net for the car or the lots, because after all, this is something I wanted, not him. And it was my vehicle. And he goes, hey, guess what? I found like a brand new 2020 SUV. I just feel like this gotta be yours. And I was like, excuse me? I was like, come again? You know, and then I don't know, it happened the next day. I had it. The next day it was in my garage. I was like, what? So that is just like this example of what letting go and being unconditional and loving life and what you have, no matter what, knowing that the desires of your heart will be met in God's timing. Just let it go. Let it go. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's already a finished work anyway. It's a matter of just us aligning with it and being the default of allowing. Our default should be allowing, not a mixed bag of unhappy, happy, unhappy, happy, unhappy, 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 oop, happy, unhappy, happy, happy, unhappy, 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 unhappy. You see, you know what I mean? You need to have the default of joy. That is the state of allowing. When you do that, you will be closing the gap of the things that are unseen into the seen. You'll be closing the gap. You're going forward into moving toward your prayers and your answered prayers and your manifestations, where you're actually bringing your thoughts into real life. Healings, well-being, health, just your goals, your dreams, your service to the world, those things. God brings that to you. You don't have to work so hard and hustle, and you'll be inspired to act. You'll be led to the next whatever. My husband literally came to me and said, let's do this. It's like, what? I didn't have to do anything. I didn't do nothing. It comes to you. It comes to you. You don't have to be like until your eyes bleed trying to find the next cure. And I've gone through that before, where I'm like, I'm defining it. I'm talking about, I have this disease. I have this ailment. I'm going to look at what I got to do. I got to take out bread. I got to do this. I got to do this. And this is me pinched off from my power source, me working on my own understanding. And guess what? It ended up in a huge dead end. I was frustrated. I got more sick. But now well-being just flows once I let it all go. And I said, you know what? I have well-being moving and coursing through me continually. And I just began just eating and doing things normally until I felt led and inspired to do anything differently other than that. And I just move according to how I feel. If I feel good, like, okay, I just feel like I feel good eating this, then I feel like I'm in a good place. If I feel bad when I eat something, then I'm like, I don't feel good about that, so I'm not going to eat that as much. Just listen to how you feel. Listen to how you feel. Let your body and let God guide you through how you feel. So let joy be your guide to the things wanted. And that is how you allow all of those desires to present themselves to you in God's timing. I love the verse in Habakkuk, and now I think it's 3:2. Totally wrong, I could be. And I'll put it across the screen. That where God's timing is his timing, and it's never late, and it's always on time, paraphrased of course, but God's timing is always on time. It's always on time. You're thinking to yourself, well, I think the right time is like right now, immediately. Guess what? It just isn't if you don't have it. It's not the right time, and there might be some character change, paradigm change, because you don't want anything that comes to you to be fleeting. You want it to be long lasting. You don't want a healing for it to leave because you don't understand about feeling good now unconditionally. You got to understand these laws before what you desire when you pray stays. And God's promises stay. Okay? And so there are just a work to be done, and we're doing them daily. It's the journey. It's the journey. I mean, you ever notice, like, even once I got the car, I was like, okay, well, now that's over. It's like the whole joy is like the going toward it. The whole excitement is like, woo, it's coming. Woo, I can't wait. Because once you get it, it's like, just like after Christmas, everyone's like, now what? You know what I mean? It's like the whole month leading up to Christmas, it's like, I can't wait, or, kids are and all that. And then Christmas comes and, so there's always going to be new desires, new things to go towards. So it's the journey. It's never the end. It's the journey of it. And we're just getting better and better and better every day. We're becoming consciously aware. We're being intentional. We're being deliberate. We're understanding who we are. We're really understanding scriptures and God's laws. God's laws are his laws. They're fixed. You got to understand that. This is nothing where he's like, no for you, yes for you, no for you. I'm going to give you a sickness, this for you, this for you. No, God is love. God has already done all the work. God has already done it where that your desires of love, good, and service are already yours. Those are yours to claim, and we have the free will whether or not we're going to claim them or not. Choose allowing, choose joy. Girls, those are the 4 steps to the scripting method. I hope that has been informative, that you take it into practice immediately and get started writing a better story for your life right this second. Welcome to the Planner Perfect community.